there's no doubt that the last few years have been pretty tough. And you might look at me and say, well, it's all right for him. He's still getting an income and it's actually going into investments. So to me, it's a bit like Harvey Norman having a sale. So shares are still cheap, so I can buy them, which hopefully will help on a longer term basis by the time I eventually retire. It's not so good for people like my mother, though, who's about 77, and my sister, both of whom are relying on their investments, are not contributing to them, they're actually drawing them down. So it has been a tough ride, there's no doubt about that, and I feel that personally, given the questions I continuously get from my mother and my sister regarding this and what to do. And the key for successful investing, as anyone like Warren Buffett will tell you, is to take a long-term view. If you can do the short-term stuff, in, out, then well and good, put the effort in though, and be prepared to put a lot of effort in to try and get that right, because it is fairly difficult. But for the rest of us, I think the key is to focus on the long term. Globally, big mess in Europe, not as bad in America. In fact, recent US economic data has picked up, and China, I think, looks pretty good. So global growth's going to slow. Europe's probably going to have a recession, but I don't see a return to the GFC. I don't see a return to the sort of global slump we had back in 2008, 2009. The emerging world is a lot stronger. The emerging world today does not have the public debt problems that Europe and the US and, believe it or not, Japan have. Share markets. It's funny. If you think about it, you can go to Commonwealth Bank at the moment, you can buy their shares, and the dividend yield you will get if you add in the franking credits, which all Australian citizens get access to, takes you to a yield of around 9%, give or take a bit. Similar in other banks and financials. So if you put $100 down, you'll get $9 every year, give or take a little bit. If you put your money into a bank deposit at Commonwealth Bank, you'll probably get 5.5%, 5.7%, something like that, depending on your term. So the point is, you can actually do better in bank shares at the moment than you can in bank deposits. I know. But why do I, Shane Oliver, think that there won't be a global recession? There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. The first one is kind of technical. When you look at money and credit markets, they're not in as bad a state as they were back in 2008. So a whole bunch of reasons why I don't see a recession in Australia. So even if Europe falls apart, causing a global recession, I think the odds of a recession here are pretty low. Firstly, there's plenty of scope to cut interest rates. Our interest rates, the official cash rate is 4.75%. Long way from the zero you see in Japan and the US and elsewhere. So a lot of scope to cut rates. And the bottom line is that 85% of Australian mortgages are what you call floating rate. My mortgage is floating. So as soon as that comes down, I get a saving. Very different to the US, where a big chunk of mortgages are actually fixed rate. Rate comes down, you're locked in, no saving. So that provides an immediate boost. It shows the level of the share market back to 1980 compared to the level of company profits. So as you know, when you buy a share or a group of shares, you're buying into the profits that hopefully those companies will generate over time. And you can see that profits have steadily increased. There's always a bit of volatility along the way, and profits at the moment are at a record level. In the case of information, I sort of wonder about that. We get so much information coming into financial markets, and all it's doing is causing a lot of noise, up and down, up and down. Is it resulting in better returns for clients or my super? I don't think it is. In fact, I think it's causing a lot of confusion. The trouble is the psychological evidence suggests that when people get confused, they switch off. They don't do anything. And the risk is that we end up making the wrong decisions from a longer term perspective because we get so concerned about all that conflicting information that we've now got. So that has become a bit of an obsession, and I would just warn against getting too carried away with that. What I would suggest is turning down the volume on the news. Maybe watch the sport or listen to music or something a bit more. Don't get too hung up with the financial news. Shares are cheap. It's no guarantee that they won't fall further in the short term, but it does offer good long-term value and higher cash flow than term deposits. Interest rates are now falling, and just about everybody is bearish. And Warren Buffett will tell you one of the best things to do is go the other way to the crowd, because when everyone is piling into one thing, you can bet your bottom dollar that that may not be the case, that may not be the place to be.
Look, I know we think there's about to be entertainment, but there's not. I'm here to talk to you about something very, very serious. I'm here to talk to you about work-life balance. It's what people are searching for, right? Work-life balance. How exactly are Australians spending their time? Let's find out a little bit about it. Let's go. This is how Australians are spending their time a lot of the time, which doesn't impress me, but my God, I used to love it in my halcyon days. And of course, this is how Australians are spending their time today, out in the rain. It's supposed to be November, apparently, summertime, and the living is easy. But of course, we've all got afro hair from the high humidity, which is lovely. Work-life balance is what I wanted to talk to you about. It's a big buzzword at the moment. 90% of my life at the moment is work, and 10% is just a part of my life. Whereas what I'd actually like is I'd like 90% of life and 10% of work. So how do we make that happen? The problem is that work is work and home is work. So stop looking for work-life balance because it doesn't exist, is basically my point. This is what our lives are like in the office, going there every day. This is what we'd like it to be like for a good deal of the time. And I personally would like it to be like that. Don't judge me. It's not what I'm here for, right? I've had a big week of judging.
One of the wonderful things about being able to get a group of people together and share some stories about what we think is happening around the world, and also have some light entertainment, is that it also gives us the opportunity to hear about some stories from people that at our place we really love to help.
I want to tell you a bit about Future 2. It is a foundation of the Australian financial planning profession. It started about 4.5 years ago when some people got together and thought this world of financial planning is doing a lot for customers, and people like you and Paul and his team do some great things for you in the financial planning sense and helping you plan your future and get everything in place for that. What I do today, I've invited Tom and Tara here just to tell you what the real experience has been for them. So they're going to say just a short speech each and give you an idea, and then we'll close up. Now, who's first? You often trick me. Tom's first today? All right, come on Tom, up you go. Welcome Tom.
Hello, hi. I am Thomas Patrick Maxwell, and I would like to tell you about some of my experience with Frans. I started a teenage independence group. We used to go out to places like Central, Broadway, and Circular Quay. As a group, my favourite thing to do is to visit museums and go to Manly and swimming. And most of all, I go to Manly because I love fish and chips. The best thing about the whole company of Frans is I got to make lots of friends, but not too many friends. And I would like to be more confident in the future. And when I finally met the CEO, Jerry McNamara, I felt from my heart, I felt that he has been helping Frans for so long, and I just want to say thank you to Jerry for that. He really touched my soul. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, finance planners. Since I was doing Frans when I was a baby, I grew up with Frans since then, 1983. Now, I'm now 24 years old. Frans has done so many things with me. Travel training, to catch a bus and trains on my own, on my way to school. Wow! But it was scary. When I got older, Frans started BIG. BIG stands for Building Independence Group. We do cooking. I love cooking. My female side of my family. Housekeeping. Housekeeping is my favorite because I like to clean and make my house so clean. Budgeting my money, hygiene, and go on social outings, trust me. I can stop. I do FLP, which is Finance Literacy Program. I go shopping at Woolies once a week on my own, and other week we do class and shop. At class, I do my personal budget for a fortnight, working out what I can do and how much it costs. I am moving out from home as soon as possible before Christmas. Mum wants me to get out. On my own. I want to be like my 3 brothers. Wow. And leave home. And Frans has helped me to learn how to look after myself, and that's how I'm going to be. Thank you.
So, look, again, thank you very, very much for making the time to come. I know it's a difficult day to get here to, but we very much appreciate you making the time to come. Thanks very much, everybody.